than saying that a beer is, hoppy.
I
What's going on,
remember.
everybody?
Hello, Eric. I remember my mother used to like to She didn't drink beer a lot. She was more of a wine drinker, but she would like to drink. I'm talking about 1979, 1980. Y'all can hear me all right?
Yes.
She would drink like Dixie beer, and she would take out a can of Dixie and she would pop it open and pour it in those big schooner glasses, you know. And I remember her putting it on the counter, and it was like a kind of like a big deal to her drink Dixie beer from New Orleans. It's kind of funny. Well, it looks like Maria froze up, huh?
Oh yeah. Huh. Maybe she'll try to get back into the video.
Yeah,
That's a
Maria.
shame.
Maria, you got to rejoin us, me, lady. John, you there? Okay, we're gonna watch the echo. Unmuted, John. Well, hello, folks. Tonight, Eric, you gotta tell him to unmute it. Tonight, we're looking at North Coast Brewing's Old Rasputin. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I could not find out when this beer debuted.
Yeah, their website doesn't really specify that information.
Couldn't have been too long ago since the company wasn't founded until 1988, which is only 28 years ago. And in the world of beer, 28 years ago is like the other day, you know.
Yeah, the oldest information they list on their website is that this beer was in the World Beer Cup and got a gold for Imperial Stout back in 1996.
Yeah, and I was looking at the medals. They said there's a whole lot of different competitions, but in the major competitions, 96 World Beer Cup, like you said, Great American Beer Festival, 99, 02. So only 3 big medals, but you know, on Beer Advocate.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. These things happen. On Beer Advocate, it gets a
do. In fact, it happens so frequently. What is reset the local area connection adapter? Like all the time that happens.
That sounds like a internet provider problem, maybe. I don't know.
I think it is too. It drives me insane. I'm gonna write it down and look it up this time because it's been happening. Right. But thank you for waiting.
Okay, so the beer has a world-class score on Beer Advocate. The bros say it's world-class. Rate Beer gives it 100 out of 100 and a 98 out of 100. So this is one of the highest-rated beers we've ever examined. And we've done some really high-rated ones. You know, we've examined Chimay Grand Reserve.
Yep.
We've done this beer, Old Rasputin. Now, we've done some ordinary beers, too, like, I don't know, Bud Light and stuff, you know. But it was interesting. And now here I am from Louisiana in the South. Up north we have John Sharon at Zone 1. Are you reading us, John?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We have Maria Devon from New York, the girl next door.
Hello.
We have Eric Thomas Meadow from Massachusetts Beer Reviews.
Hello.
Okay. Well,
am I still echoing?
No, I don't hear an echo, which is nice.
I invited a whole lot of people, but Brian had to work. Paul
I don't know where Nate went. Nate said he was going to try to join us.
Said he couldn't find it.
Oh, I told him where to find it. Anyways, that's not.
Paul has to do soccer coaching. Keone, we never see Keone anymore. We must have made him angry, but I don't know what we did. Eric is off and on out in California, but he's usually pretty enthusiastic. Tanya usually has to work, and so on and so on. Actually, a lot of people sent me emails saying they had to work, and I said, well, that's a little bit more important than talking about a beer. So a lot of people work at night.
When you're talking about this beer, it's more important than work right now.
Yeah, because you're off.
Yeah.
I was at work. I was at work today. Okay, well, you can see it's still sunny out here. It's 6:37 Central Time. It got up to about 76 degrees. So if anybody visits Louisiana, like let's say next week, you might be looking at lows at night around 59 and highs during the day around 80.
Damn.
Of course, you run the risk of rain showers, but I guess that's the whole United States, eastern half of the United States, more or less.
We're supposed to get snow flurries
I know.
Friday.
Good grief. New York was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a cold front come through and just a little bit of snow. Nothing like, you know, again, nothing like what the other people got. And it should warm up again.
Same in Massachusetts, in southern Mass.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, this winter in Louisiana, it did get down to 31 degrees one night. It did. One night it got down to 31 degrees for about 2 hours, I think.
Is that very unusual? Because 31 degrees is nothing for up here, and we didn't even see it. It's like, oh, we had such warm temperatures.
It's not unusual, but like if it gets to 24 degrees, it's a major emergency.
Wow.
And that doesn't happen too much. But, you know, the thing about Louisiana, the humidity is so high that it can be 45 degrees and it might feel like it's 25 because the humidity is so heavy. It's like you're covered with a wet blanket and you're in that cold. So I had a student from Spain one time. He was from Madrid, Spain, and it gets pretty cold in Spain. But he said he was like miserable in Louisiana. It was so chilly. He just felt cold. But anyway, this is not about weather. It's kind of about weather because Russian Imperial Stouts are related to weather in some ways, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
The cold northern latitudes, the English beer producers shipping beer to Imperial Russia in the 1790s. And you know how extreme that weather can be going up to St. Petersburg, Russia, and all of that. So this is a beer that can handle the really cold weather, and it would scoff with great contempt at 31 degrees. A beer like this, wouldn't it?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And who's not had it before?
I have not had this since probably 2011 or 12, so it's been a little while.
But everyone's had it.
Yes.
Yeah. I've probably had it for the last several years.
Okay, it's 9% alcohol and it's 75 international bitterness units. But I don't think you're going to notice tonight that it's going to taste too bitter.
I was watching a certain beer tuber that I won't say his name live on camera just to not put him on the spot there, but he was talking about not really enjoying this beer as much as an Imperial Stout is concerned because it sort of had a hoppier taste to it that he kind of thought was a little bit off profile for a Russian Imperial Stout, but I guess we're going to find out if we agree with that statement or not.
And you see, I disagree with that. I name names because
massive beer reviews. There you go.
Okay.
Buddy Matt.
Yeah, and he's really into multi beers. Here's my problem with being like touchy about not naming names.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you're out here in public, you're doing beer reviews, right? So then you get offended because somebody like took exception to something you said. It's like, wait a minute. If people are respectful, you can disagree about beers. I was going to make a retrospective video, which I've never done, about 10 years of beer reviewing. Video beer reviewing. Not me. I've only been on it 6 years, you know. But, oh, I'm sorry, 5.5. But, you know, I was like, there's so many people that did beer reviews years ago, and they've all dropped off the scene. There's a lot of new people. And then I was just going to talk about, you know, how some people are really good about answering comments. They'll, like, answer everybody's comments. Well thought out answers, you know. And then there's other people that they obviously don't really want to answer you. They're like, thanks, cheers, you know, screw off. And it's like, I always had a problem with that because my idea behind it was you're making the videos so that you can talk to people about beer because more than likely people in your immediate area aren't too interested in it aside from like slugging a bunch of Bud Lights. And so you reach out on the internet so you can talk to people about beer. It's not, but, you know, to me it's not about marketing and trying to get big and all that. But I don't know, enough philosophy. I just...
But, you know, I've noticed I don't get to put up as many videos as you guys do, just, you know, with my time frame and taking care of this and that, but I won't go into it. But you know, I mean, what people I've met, and I've tried to answer every question I can. But I mean, you meet a lot of people that are pretty nice on YouTube, and really like put good comments out there on your channel.
Yes, I would say it's 95% or higher positive.
Yeah.
The whole thing about the retrospective was just to say, okay, it's been a decade. Let's look back at all what's going on. And it's interesting because some of the really early 1996 video beer reviewers, they didn't last a year and they were gone. And then, well, anyway, I'm going to start talking and do the retrospective. All right. Maria, ladies first. So you give us the appearance, which I think we all can see what that is about.
It was just gorgeous. Gosh, it pours like a black walnut color. It's beautiful and it's clear. There's a ruby that's settled to the bottom of this glass, and you can see it if you look for it. And the head was fat and creamy and chocolate colored, and it was sultry to look at. I mean, it's just a beautiful black beer. It's opaque, right, but it doesn't mean cloudy or murky, so it's just lovely. And if you look straight down, you can see that it's got clarity. It's just a gorgeous-looking beer.
Boy, you said it. New England. Massachusetts.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jay, again. I would agree with most of the statements that Maria has put forth on the beer. I've noticed I went with one of the Beer Advocate recommendations to use a snifter type glass.
Which I need to buy. I need to buy one. Okay.
And it created, obviously it has a narrower shape going up vertically this way, so it didn't create such a large head. But the head that is there is definitely got some creamy qualities to it.
Yeah.
It definitely has some very small bubbles, as you can see. It does at 9%, you would think. So it is leaving some absolutely gorgeous, milky kind of milk stout, that creamed coffee kind of look to it. So, it looks the part, and it's got a little bit of that ruby tinge that Maria's talking about. But otherwise, it is black as night. You're not seeing anything through it. It certainly looks the part of a good Imperial Stout in the Russian fashion.
Yeah. I agree with that. John?
Well, I'm with Eric. I got a snifter also, but I mean, I got awesome lacing around the glass, and if I well my glass around a little bit, the head definitely comes back. But looking down upon my glass, it almost looks like it's got that cappuccino bubble in it. With the way that it swirls around a little bit, and was just the way it's kind of got that cloudy look, and it's dark around the edges, and in the middle it's kind of got that white foamy cappuccino look in it that really just smells awesome. So,
well, I got the same thing. It's really dark brown, but it's not black. I mean, if you look at it carefully, it is not black, but it is super dark brown. It is like the most mahogany colored thing, right? And the head is what, cream colored or beige? Yeah, beige, right? Okay. I know there's a barrel aged version. I've never had the barrel aged, and there's like a reserve version.
It's got to be tough. That's got to be really, really tough to find, because I've been looking for that thing and I've never even seen it in the store.
I've had it a couple times. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's sky high. It's so expensive. Like, this bottle is so cheap. I bought this bottle. It was $2.29.
Oh.
It's like common.
I give $3.27 for mine.
No. Down in New Orleans, these beers are cheap, cheap, cheap relative to what you would think. Maria,
I should have bought the whole 4-pack, because the whole 4-pack was 10 something, and I should have got it. So.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could remember what it was. It was the last one. I grabbed the last one. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh man, look. You don't mind paying a lot, right? I mean, this beer is probably worth $4.99 a bottle, but to get it for $2.29 or $2.50 or
it wasn't cheap like $2.50. No way. No way.
Yeah.
It was more like what John said, 3 something.
I bought it at
$3.27. It's I've spent a whole lot more for a whole lot less, and this is for the money. I mean, for $3.27, it's a phenomenal beer.
And I bought, yeah, but it's so cheap. I don't know why. Some of the beers that we drink are so cheap around here, like this one, for instance, and the Old Stock Ale and Bigfoot Ale and all these like really dynamite high ABV beers. It's like, come on, man. Even this thing, that Van Steenberger, you know that six-pack I was showing y'all with the Bornholm Triple and the
yeah.
$17.99.
Yeah, and you got all those beers, right? You got that many.
I mean, for real. And oh man, earlier today, yeah, and I haven't even drank all those. Earlier today, I drank this beer from Goose Island. Almost no one has drank it. It's called the Illinois. It's Goose Island, the Illinois Imperial IPA.
Nice.
8.4% alcohol, 80 IBUs, and I guarantee you, it's every. I don't know who's playing hockey in the background. It is every bit. Those 80 come across as 80. It is bitter. It is fierce. It is aggressive. It is.
Have you got a picture of that and send to the group?
Yes.
I'd like to see that one.
I sent it to the group. That beer is so harsh, but you know the kind of. You ever had those Imperial IPAs that are delightfully harsh?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is awesome. I give it an A+.
You know,
There's actually in the style, you're talking about a feature that's a feature of this style, don't you know? But there's a feature similar to the one you're talking about in the DIPA, that little remark from alcohol and how it plays to the finish, and whether you think it was well done or not. If you actually look up that style, and my guidelines are old, so if you get a new one and it doesn't show it, but just like in this one, somewhere in these guidelines, it'll say it's going to show you a little bit of alcohol right here, and then it should tell you how. It should describe how that should play out, so that, and you would know if the finish was ruined, right? If it was ruined, you'd be like, that's it. I don't like the beer anymore. I don't even want to drink it. If there was too much ABV in the finish, right? And harsh, like what you were saying, yeah.
But I said it was appropriately harsh, and it's hard to describe. If you drink the Illinois, you're gonna say, "Oh man, this thing here." It's sort of like that Alpine. What's that? That's 8%. Yeah.
You know, Jay, actually in 2014 they made a barrel age of this.
Yeah, this old Rasputin.
No, the one you're talking about from Goose Island.
The Illinois.
The Illinois.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember when that came out. I don't think I've seen that one since that actually came out, and that was a couple of years ago, I'm sure.
It was. It was like 3 years ago, and it's like, this is, well, we got to get back to this beer, but this is what I don't understand. You're making a beer like the Illinois that I drank this afternoon. It is that good. Why is it not in every store in America?
Yeah. Well, because a lot of those beers like that, you know, you get back to talk about that one. A lot of those beers like that, you know, it's like a zombie dust. Not everybody can get it, but they only put out like so much of it, and a few package stores like 2 or 3 6-packs of it, and that's it.
I know.
So I mean, supply and demand is what you want.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. It seems like you'd want everybody to have this fantasticness. Okay, the aroma on the old
Stephen Matthews wanted to know why there was no chat session on this hangout.
I don't know how to, I don't know how to set up where it will let people make comments. I'm looking at settings, and all I see is webcam, default microphone, voice.
Yeah.
Me either. I don't know how to do it. I'm never going to do it.
I think the way that you do that is you click on that Q&A button on the far left, and then you can see the commenting.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Shows what I know.
That's how that works.
Ask your audience to submit questions, and they will appear below. Okay. Duh. See?
I wanted to say here that watching Matt's review on the Massive Beer Reviews, and getting a nose on the beer at least. I know I've had a little bit of it to drink here, but the nose, I'm not getting quite as much of a hop-forward sort of a presence to the beer as he seemed to get from the beer. I mean, I do get a little bit of any kind of hop. I might get a little bit of a piney sort of a hop note, but I think the hops are very light. I get a lot of that typical dark chocolate and dark roasted coffee. I might get some dark cherries or raisins, and it sort of has that that sugary 9% kind of a feel to it, but it all smells like, you know, you want a Russian Imperial Stout to smell. Right on point for me.
Maria?
Yeah, I think Eric said it well. I don't get a whole lot of hop presence on this beer either, but there's a good, strong malty presence, a soft caramel, a nice roast, a creaminess, chocolatey, right? At first it smells fudgy chocolatey, and then it all kind of just sinks into a more mellow roastiness. I'm not smelling a whole lot of like sharp coffee or bitterness or anything like that on the nose. I'd say if anything, the hops that you'll see on the nose are earthy, part of the earth that's in this beer. You shouldn't really see a big hop character. I'm trying to think of what else I get here, and that's pretty much it. You know, when I first cracked the bottle, I thought for dark fruits, I think I get cherry, but then that softened into just like a mellow, you know, all over kind of dark fruit presence. The alcohol's a little estery and soft on the nose, right? But it's nothing you can pinpoint and say, oh, that smells hot, or that smells fusel, or that smells medicinal. Nothing like that. It's just like a soft sweetness. It's just a beautiful beer. Rich, full, you know, scent, just gorgeous.
How about you, John?
Well, I think the complexity of this beer is just phenomenal, and I agree with a lot of what Maria and Eric said. I mean, this beer has big notes. I mean, it's a very malt-forward beer, I think. I don't get a lot of the hops in it because it might be overpowered by what malts is in it, but it's got a tremendous, and I've actually let mine warm up for about 35 minutes before this happened because I didn't want it to be malt liquor cold, for instance, but I want it to be almost at just a little above room temperature, but on the back end of it, excuse me, it's got that boozy taste that I like on these big Imperial Stouts, and you get that, and it kind of leaves a little taste in your mouth, and that's what I enjoy about these. I mean, this is just a tremendous beer, and it's got the caramel notes, it's got everything that everybody's talking about. But I mean, for me to let this warm up just a little above room temperature, the booze comes out of it. You don't catch it on the front end, you catch it on the back end. That's what I really enjoy in this.
Well, I appreciate everybody's comments. My opinion of the aroma is, man, it is like so coffee and, like you said, chocolate. But you know, I get into trouble with this a lot with comments from people because they say all you ever talk about is bread. Yeah, but I agree with that. I do always talk about that. But beer is made from barley mostly, right? So
yeah,
you can make barley bread. So it makes sense that it's going to smell like a grain product. Okay, so I don't really get intimidated by the comments because
they don't call it liquid bread for nothing.
Right, I'm picking up a strong, but it's a sweet bread. It's like really dark bread crust. It's like if you go to Volksfest in May at Deutsches Haus in New Orleans, they have something called black bread, and it smells kind of like that. And then there's fudge, and to me it smells like you would want to drink this with, I don't want to say Reese's peanut butter cup, but maybe there's a company that makes like super gourmet Reese's, you know what I mean, like peanut butter cups, like
Russell Stover, maybe.
Like that would be really expensive, you know, but like with dark chocolate, not milk chocolate. And it smells like it would go with that. I mean, I could drink this beer. I'm just going by aroma now, and I'm getting all excited. I could drink this beer with eggs Benedict and
wow,
no joke, and like really good white link sausage. Like, what is that stuff? The kielbasa or even boudin. Boudin is a rice sausage. All right. Well, anyway, I'm not going to get too. I don't want to get too like out of control with this, but anyway, back to the flavor. But that's what I just like, like the stream of consciousness. When I think about it, then I start thinking of all the food pairings. But anyway, Maria, the flavor. Let's go with the flavor.
Well, I love the flavor. This is like smooth chocolate meets bold and edgy roast, and that's a good Russian Imperial Stout. There's some earthy coffee, right, but it's not bitter like espresso. It doesn't stand out that far forward, but it's just earthy. It lends texture. The malt is so complex, right? Soft caramel, sweet earth. I mean, what more could you want? And then there's some dark fruit, and it's the passion of the style that I think is good. It's strong. It's meant to be strong. You're supposed to see an alcohol presence on the palate. It comes towards the finish. It's just a bit, right, of sharpness. Just as it goes towards the finish, gives you some warmth, lets you see all that flavor again, shows you the chocolate and the sweetness that's behind that, and then it finishes. Then it's done after you see how strong it is. It's a strong beer at 9%. I really like it. I could talk about it forever.
Epic.
No joke.
Good
Eric?
description. I'm agreeing with, even Eric Anderson will say it. Maria's just got a way of putting these words together, and it sounds like poetry, basically, in the beer world. But my version of poetry is not going to sound as good. I'm getting all of those things. I'm getting all of those things Maria talks about. I'm noticing that since the beer has warmed up closer to room temperature, that it does have a little bit of a prickly carbonation, but it's not too much that makes it feel overly crisp in the mouthfeel. It's pretty smooth at 9%. It does have some sort of a sticky sweetness. I don't think it's like a syrupy kind of a sweetness. It's not like a Belgian candied sugar kind of a thing in any way, shape, or form. Again, I'm getting lots of dark chocolate, lots of like a medium towards a dark roasted coffee. Again, I'm not really getting much more than maybe a piney type of an earthiness from the hops. I taste 75% IBUs, but I don't taste them as being a hoppy, sensation or flavor on the tongue. It does have some sugariness as it finishes, but I think for a Russian Imperial Stout, it is on the lighter side on the finish, and it finishes pretty quickly. But overall, this is pretty easy to put down. In at 9%, you got to watch yourself because it's easy to drink, I think.
I agree. Hold on, I'm taking a picture.
And yeah, while you do that, I guess you're talking about the bread, and I didn't think about it in the smell and the taste, but there definitely is a yeasty, bready kind of malt component to that. It's definitely a brown bread, and you get that yeasty kind of an earthier sort of a nose on it. But I wouldn't say it's like a saison in the funky barnyard category.
No, and John, your flavor assessment. I have the questions up. If y'all want to ask questions, audience, there they are. It says it right here. Ask your audience to submit questions. Well, there we go.
I mean, I get a lot of what everybody else is getting. I mean, it's just you get the chocolate notes, but I also get almost like a feel of some raisins in there. Yeah. Does that sound silly? But I believe I get a little bit of that. But no. I mean, it's just big malt. I mean, for 9%, I don't think you're ever going to go wrong, because I think this is one of those beers that it's 9%, but the alcohol, to me, is well hidden in it until the back end, and it's still not, to me, like a 9% beer. I just think it's just an overall awesome beer, and I got to agree with the poet master Maria. I mean, she was spot on with everything she said.
The beer community poet laureate. Hey.
Yeah.
Cheers on that.
Yeah.
Chink. Well,
but it's just a phenomenal beer, and I've had it for many, many years, and just you're never going to go wrong with it.
Look, I think the flavor is dynamic. It is awesome. It is incredible. You want to drink a beer that's 100 out of 100 on rate beer? This is the one to drink.
Or John Courage.
But look, oh yeah, don't even talk about John Courage Russian Imperial Stout because you can get me going on that. Don't even bring up Founders Russian Imperial Stout because you're going to get me going on that. Don't even bring up Samuel Smith's Yorkshire Stingo because you're going to get me going on that. But this beer, for the price you pay, it is awesome. It's like you got a cheap trip to England with a group on a group tour, and somebody said, "Oh well, how would you like to go have dinner with the Queen just because we're being nice today?" You'd be like, yeah, okay." So,
ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You paid for the typical tourist trip, but you're getting to go eat dinner with the Queen at Balmoral, and they're going to take you there in a private train all the way up to Scotland. So this is what this beer is like. This is no joke. We are not overhyping it. It does not get 100 out of 100 for no reason. Okay? Hey, really, if you're only drinking Busch Light, and I'm not downgrading that, I drank that beer. You better get yourself mentally prepared because it's not going to be what you're used to drinking. And so I want to encourage the people, don't let it chase you away. Don't let it chase you away. Okay.
It's got to be one of the easier Russian Imperial Stouts that you can buy for the money and that you can taste, because I don't think it's overly harsh at all for the style.
But you know, and it's a year-round beer. I mean, we can get it here year-round.
Right, it's common. It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's bready. It's black bread. It's chocolate. It's coffee, and I mean dark chocolate, and I mean dark coffee. Like John said, raisins, some black cherry. Yeah, black bread. Eric, look it up.
Okay.
Excuse me, carbonation. But that black bread, you want to put some butter on it. I didn't say margarine. You didn't hear me say margarine. I said fresh butter.
Black bread. Huh.
It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. You know what I mean? It's like it's chocolate, it's coffee, it's all of those things. It's bitterness, it's hoppy. You say hoppy, he's going crazy. No, the hops are there, but they're there to balance out that sweetness. And none of it is super strong, right? It's like it's all appropriate. It's like everything about this beer is appropriate. How do they get it perfect like this? I can't understand it.
The complexity of this beer is just phenomenal between the malts, the hops, and everything else. And I mean, there's nothing that overpowers.
Yeah.
Anything else. It's just a nice, well done beer.
It's like velvet in the mouth. It's like, oh man. And the finish is on the dry side. You know, like you're saying, oh, well, how can you say it's a dry finish? You said the beer was sweet. But I didn't say it was overly sweet. I didn't say it was a sweet beer. It has sweet, like, characteristics. It's really a strange thing. It's like if you try to break this down too much, you'll break down. You just need to drink it. Yeah, right. Like
you got to look at it. You got to look at the perspective of it being an imperial, of it being a Russian Imperial Stout, and for it being a Russian Imperial Stout, as I thought in 2012, and I'm still thinking to this day that it has a semi-dry mouth feel. I mean, it finishes semi-dry. Now, compared to say, I don't know, compared to say Blue Moon Belgian Wheat from Coors, yeah, this is a sweet beer, but for the style, it's not as sweet as most in the style.
No, and I want
to me, if you take a drink of this and you swallow it, and then you do that secondary swallow afterwards, you get a lot more drier mouthfeel on the beer itself.
Yeah, and another thing I want to say. Don't just limit yourself to Old Rasputin. Let that be just the first step. You want to, like Eric said, you want to get that John Courage Russian Imperial Stout. You want to get that Distill Distruce Black Albert, that Nogo no O Tokyo Black Horizon. You want to get the Founders Russian Imperial Stout.
Got 3 of them aging.
Yeah, it's like you can't stop. You want to just keep going, because this style is so incredible. So you say y'all probably work for North Coast Brewing the way you're bragging on it.
That would be awesome.
Look, viewers, we wish we worked for North Coast Brewing, and we wish we were getting bought out, and we wish we were on their payroll, and we wish we were shills for the company. They could send us all the free beer, and we would brag on it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We had to pay for it, but we think it's awesome. Well, I think it's awesome, but anyway, now the next set, we go around and talk about would you buy it again. That's a ridiculous question tonight, I guess, but be honest, Maria.
I absolutely have bought it many times, and I will buy it again. It's delightful. I just love it.
Eric?
I'm kind of disappointed drinking this now that I only bought the single bottle and I didn't pick up the 4-pack. I think the 4-pack in my town was $11 and change, and I would have obviously definitely drank this one and put 3 others in the beer cellar and see how it develops. So, yeah, I will buy this again, definitely.
John, Sharon, Zone 1.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I made a mistake and bought one. I should have bought the whole 4-pack.
Yep.
But, I mean, for price point, to me, on this beer right here, and I've said it more than once probably tonight, but this is phenomenal. To me, this is the stout that all stouts should be compared to. And I mean that and just because it's just a phenomenal beer. I'd give a whole lot more money for Imperial Stouts and got less bang for my buck than I did for spending $3.27 for one single of this. And am I going to buy it again? Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy it again. Cause, I mean, it's just a good beer.
Yeah, and look, I'm sorry for getting
I can't kill a whole 4-pack of it one night, but I'm definitely going to buy some more.
No, you might drink it in 1 month.
Yeah.
1 month. Okay, I apologize. I'm sorry for getting so excited. I'm like a child. I admit it. I'm childish. Like when it comes to beer and hobbies, I get all excited and go kind of crazy, right? So I'll be the first one to admit it. So I just want to give that apology to you, John, and Maria, and Eric, and all of you.
That's why we're here. We all have that hobby.
But I can't help it. When I drink something like this, I go like crazy, you know, like out of control. And so, oh man, it's like, and I wanted to go around telling everybody today, I'm drinking Old Rasputin tonight. I'm drinking Old Rasputin tonight. Of course, I knew that the people I was going to talk to could care less, so I didn't say anything. But I wanted to tell them, you know, like, guess what? I'm drinking Old Rasputin tonight. And they would look at me like, so? I'm drinking Red. They would say, so? I'm drinking Red's Apple Ale.
Woo, yeah.
I want to go jump off a cliff. But
yep.
So this beer, folks, you know, the cut and dry of it, it's awesome. You want to drink an awesome beer, drink this. There's not going to be that many beer examinations coming up, or even in the past that we've done, that are going to measure up to this. So it's going to kind of be downhill from here. But you can only go to the mountaintop so many times, and maybe we're not at the mountaintop, but we're real close to it.
Climbing.
It's awesome, man. Awesome. Now, can I say it's better than Black Albert or No Gono O Horizon? I can't say that. But then on the other hand, on the other hand, this didn't cost me $12.99 for an 11.2 ounce. Get it?
Yes.
Awesome, y'all. Awesome. Any last comments about this item?
You know, I'm glad it's just one of those year-round beers where, you know, it's available to you anytime. It's not one of those beers that, you know, you got to wait once a year for it to come out. And one package store gets 2 cases of beer for every 100,000 people to get. So
yeah, you don't have to wait in line.
Huh?
I said, yeah, you don't have to wait in line.
You don't have to wait in line for it. You don't have to do nothing. I mean, if you can get it, try it, because I guarantee you're going to like it.
Yeah, and don't you think it's one of the beers you need to have before you die if you're into beer hobby?
There's no reason to not. You're gonna be crazy to not ever have this in your lifetime.
Any last thoughts, Maria?
It's one of the exemplars of the style, at least it is on my guidelines, and you should definitely check it out. It's well worth it, and it will show you everything that the style is supposed to be, and I think you'll like it too, especially if you like bold flavors, and strong beer.
And And you just named 3 things that I love. Okay, well, next week we're going to do Rogue Dead Guy Ale. Now,
Nice.
people are going to say, oh, Rogue Dead Guy Ale. You know what? Before you start saying all that, let me say something. I know that's their flagship beer. And I've heard video reviewers say, oh, flagship beers, they're always the worst ones. Wrong. Okay, but anyway, look, Rogue Dead Guy Ale is a really good beer. And in fact, I've drank a lot of Rogue beers, and I've paid way much more than I should have for those Rogue beers. Probably paid too much for the Rogue Dead Guy, honestly. But I think Rogue Dead Guy is a really good beer. I like that beer. I think it's a dumb name, but, I think it's a really good beer. I love that beer. So I'm just kind of like giving what do you call that, a tease for next week? But
Yeah,
I really mean it.
But do you think if it wasn't for those flagship beers that they'd be where they're at right now? That's the same way it is with a lot of craft beers. If it wasn't for the flagship beers, may not be where they're at now.
You're right, because if there wasn't an Anchor Steam, we wouldn't be drinking and if there wasn't a North Coast, what do you call it, California IPA or California, what is it? You wouldn't be drinking this. So, yeah, you're right. There's got to be a flagship. And then we have a Beta Amber. Well, I understand that that's a problem for some people.
I bought a
I can
turbo
actually get
dog.
them here.
I think what I'm going to have to do. Well,
I can
John,
get a beat amber here.
yeah, John, I think you might be given. Someone might give you an Abita Amber coming
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
Okay.
Um,
No, I can get purple haze here.
unless you can get it. Now, if you can get it,
No, I'm sorry. We're going to get the purple haze here.
So what I might have to do for the April 20th is just say Abita wild card, whatever Abita beer you can scrounge up.
let's take a look at Abita Brewing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
would be
might
cool.
be able to do. I can't do the amber, I'm pretty sure, but maybe any Abita beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, that means any beer Abita makes.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have their Pilsner out. I had it last year, that Seersucker Pils. Is that a seasonal?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go see. The 20th now?
Yeah, we'll say any beer Abita makes, which means you can't get Giacomo IPA, which caused endless controversy in my beer circles because I had people tell me, Giacomo, you're an idiot. That's a horrible beer. I say, oh, you think it was selling okay for 30 years because people hated it? But anyway,
Right.
but they canceled Giacomo, so I was kind of hurt by that. But
That's not the one. When I was, I forget what I was talking about on a thread, and someone came out to recommend a Beta beer, and it wasn't that one. It was Turbo Dog.
oh well, hey, that's
So I went right out to try that one. That was, I think, one of my first and only
That's
from
the
that
one I
brewery.
bought.
yeah, it's a dark brown ale.
I had nothing from Abita yet.
Yeah, they call it a beta because it's in Abita Springs, Louisiana, and the water comes out of a spring. It bubbles out of the ground and blah, blah, blah. April 27th, we have Chimay Red Cap. Well, okay, it's getting pretty exciting.
Yay! Oh, yay!
Oh, yeah, that beer is awesome.
Pretty exciting. All right, well, I appreciate you joining me. And
Thank
think we
you
have-
to all the viewers watching out there on YouTube land.
yeah, we really appreciate it, and we appreciate your comments, and we appreciate the interaction. And like when Michelle with Foodography lined up all these beers last week or earlier this week on Facebook, I said, that's awesomeness on parade.
That's right.
We
Yes.
went to Russian River. Oh, I was so jealous. She had her Pliny's all on the table, and then
I said, that's awesome. That's awesomeness on parade.